Imagine this. The NBA world's biggest star, LeBron James, is secretly being betrayed by his own peers, other NBA players who are working against him. And it's costing his agent, Rich Paul, millions of dollars. Sounds like drama straight out of a blockbuster film, right? But here's the kicker. This is real. This isn't a Twitter beef, and it isn't the type of fan drama you see after a rough game. This is happening inside the league. The business side of the NBA is being affected, with real money on the line. But why would so many NBA players, including former ones, be actively telling young prospects, don't sign with Clutch Sports? Why is LeBron, someone who's changed the game both on and off the court, suddenly the target of so much disdain? The truth is, the answer lies in the business of basketball, and it goes far deeper than just basketball rivalries or simple competition. LeBron James, known as one of the greatest to ever play the game, is also known for his business empire. His influence goes far beyond the hardware. He's built Clutch Sports, a powerhouse agency that manages some of the biggest names in the NBA today. But with success comes envy, and some of the very people who were supposed to be part of his circle, fellow players, his peers, have begun quietly distancing themselves. Rich Paul, LeBron's longtime friend and business partner, has been hit hardest by this. Clutch Sports has been the subject of intense scrutiny and competition, especially from agents who feel threatened by Paul's rise in power. And behind the scenes, whispers of players sabotaging LeBron's efforts are getting louder. The hate for LeBron, which many have kept under wraps, is now spilling out into the open, costing both LeBron and Rich Paul millions of dollars in lost deals and opportunities. LeBron has always been a lightning rod for controversy. Whether it's the decision to leave Cleveland for Miami, his dominance on the court, or his outspoken nature off it, he has rarely gone unnoticed. But this is a new kind of battle, a battle fought in boardrooms and behind closed doors, far from the arenas. The question remains, though, how much will this affect LeBron's legacy, his agency, and his future in the NBA? And the real question, one that should have NBA fans on edge, is this: is LeBron really being turned on by his own league? And what happens when players, the very ones he once mentored, start working behind the scenes to destroy his empire? Before we dive deeper into this explosive situation, tell me where you're watching from. Are you in Los Angeles, where the Lakers fans are feeling the heat? Or are you across the country watching from a city that's hoping LeBron's empire comes crumbling down? Drop a 1 if you think this betrayal could destroy LeBron's career. Drop a 2 if you think he'll bounce back stronger than ever. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any updates on this unfolding drama. As the drama intensifies, something you might not expect is happening behind closed doors. LeBron James might actually be playing the game of his life not on the court, but in the boardroom. LeBron's entire career has been built on beating the odds. From the streets of Akron to NBA stardom, and now on to an empire that extends well beyond basketball, LeBron has always been a man who defies expectations. But the rise of Clutch Sports, his agency that represents top stars like Anthony Davis and Ben Simmons, has turned him into a target. The jealousy bubbling beneath the surface from NBA peers has now erupted into something that could change the landscape of the league forever. The whispers began in the locker rooms. It started with subtle slights comments made in passing. But as Clutch grew stronger, these whispers turned into a full-on campaign against LeBron and his agency. And this isn't some underdog story of a group of rivals coming together to take down the king. No, this is about money. It's about power. And it's about a group of elite NBA players trying to cut LeBron off at the knees before he completely takes over the sports industry. One of the most shocking aspects of this situation is that players are actively advising young prospects against signing with Clutch. Can you imagine that? NBA players, the very same ones who benefited from the massive deals that LeBron and Rich Paul helped facilitate, are now attempting to turn the tide. But the worst part, these efforts are working. In one of the most controversial moves, agents outside of Clutch are getting more traction with rookies and young stars than LeBron ever could have anticipated. It's like watching a chess game unfold. And right now, LeBron is on the defensive. The market for young talent is rapidly shifting, and with so many forces pulling in different directions, the long-term implications of this could be catastrophic for LeBron's brand. But let's take a step back. This situation didn't emerge out of nowhere. There's a reason players are turning on LeBron. And it's not just personal. The rise of Clutch Sports and LeBron's immense influence has disrupted the power balance in the NBA. Agents who once controlled the game now feel threatened by LeBron's ability to shape the future of the league, guiding not just teams, but entire careers. In truth, LeBron's biggest challenge may not be his on-court opponents anymore. It's the players and agents who feel that his power is becoming too much to handle. It's the players who believe that LeBron's dominance is a threat to the traditional structure of the NBA business. But make no mistake, LeBron isn't going down without a fight. And this isn't just about basketball. This is about redefining the future of sports and business. What LeBron and Rich Paul are up against isn't just a personal vendetta, it's an ideological battle that could change how athletes manage their careers and how agents operate within the NBA. It's time to take a closer look at the motivations behind this newfound hate for LeBron. Who benefits the most if Clutch Sports falls apart? And more importantly, what happens when the future of the NBA begins to fracture from within? Before we continue, drop your thoughts below. Do you think LeBron has the power to turn this situation around, or is the damage already done? Drop a 1 for yes, 2 for no, and tell us your opinion in the comment. LeBron James isn't just facing a rivalry with other teams. He's battling for control of the future of the NBA itself. As Clutch Sports grows, so does the spotlight on its power within the NBA landscape. But what many don't realize is how this shift has disrupted more than just the business side of basketball. It's shaken the very foundation of player-agency relationships. Suddenly, agents who have held power for decades are scrambling to hold on to their influence. But in their desperation, some are taking a darker route, spreading rumors and whispering in the ears of young players, turning them against the very system that helped make them stars. So why exactly are so many players suddenly turning on LeBron and his empire? The answer lies in the delicate balance of power. LeBron James has never just been a player, he's become a brand, an icon, a businessman, and now a kingmaker in the world of NBA contract. And with that much influence, others start to feel left out or even threatened. What many fail to understand is how this dynamic is shifting the entire flow of money, power, and decision-making within the league. Rich Paul's rise to prominence as LeBron's agent has become a case study in how much power one person can wield in an industry dominated by corporate giants. He's taking a more personal approach to representation, and the results speak for themselves. More top-tier players are signing with Clutch Sports, and more contracts are being negotiated in a way that challenges the status quo. But not everyone is thrilled about this shift. In fact, some agents see it as a direct threat to their own livelihoods. And it's not just about money, it's about control. The more players that sign with Clutch Sports, the less leverage other agencies have. Suddenly, the playing field is no longer level, and that's where the resentment starts building. And it's not just coming from agents. NBA players themselves are beginning to feel the strain of this new power structure. There's a deeper, more personal resentment building within the league. Players who were once part of the old guard see LeBron as a threat. Someone who's rewriting the rules and pushing boundaries too fast for them to keep up. And as with all things in the NBA, when you push too far, you create enemies. What many fail to realize, however, is that this kind of growing animosity doesn't just hurt LeBron, it hurts the league as a whole. LeBron James, with all his success and achievements, is now learning that being a pioneer comes with immense sacrifices. His critics, former teammates, agents, and even players he's mentored are not only vocal in their disdain, but are actively working behind the scenes to halt his influence. The impact this is having on Clutch Sports cannot be overstated. More and more players are questioning whether aligning themselves with LeBron and Rich Paul is truly in their best interest, or if the backlash is too much to handle. As this battle continues, the stakes have never been higher. If LeBron and Clutch Sports lose their foothold in the industry, it could reshape the future of the NBA in ways we can't even imagine. On the flip side, if they win, they could solidify their legacy as the most powerful force in modern basketball history. But with every passing day, the pressure builds and the line between success and failure grows thinner. Now, the question on everyone's mind is whether LeBron will emerge victorious or whether this internal war will destroy everything he's built. The NBA is at a crossroads, and every move made now could either make or break LeBron's reign as the most powerful player in basketball. But here's the twist. What if this isn't just about power in the NBA? What if, beneath the surface, this is a fight for LeBron's legacy itself? We may not see it now, but in years to come, this battle will define how the league is run, how players are represented, and how basketball stars will build their empires in the future. Are we watching the downfall of LeBron James, or the rise of a new kind of NBA, one where the players, not the owners, have ultimate control? Let me know your thoughts below. Do you think LeBron will come out on top, or is this the beginning of the end for Clutch Sports? Drop a 1 if you think LeBron will overcome this challenge, or a 2 if you think it's too much to recover from. The NBA has always been a game of strategy, but what's happening behind the scenes now is far more complicated than anything we've seen before. LeBron James, who has long been the face of the NBA, is now finding himself at the center of an all-out battle for control of the league. And as the stakes grow, so does the tension between the old guard and the new wave of player empowerment led by LeBron and Rich Paul. The rise of Clutch Sports has sent shockwaves through the NBA, and it's not just agents who are feeling the heat. Former players who once served as cornerstones of the league are now speaking out against LeBron's influence. Some are publicly criticizing his control over young players, while others are quietly plotting behind closed doors to break up the growing influence of Clutch. This battle for control isn't just a fight for power, it's a fight for the very soul of the NBA. The old school, which believes in the traditional structure of the league owners holding the power, agents serving as middlemen, is being challenged by a new way of doing business. LeBron and Rich Paul are not just athletes and agents, they're pioneers, redefining how players operate in the NBA. But as they push the boundaries of what's possible, they're also creating enemies among the very people who helped build the league to what it is today. The question now isn't just about whether LeBron and Clutch Sports will survive this fight, it's about whether this fight will change the NBA forever. If the old guard can successfully push back against LeBron's influence, it could mean the end of player empowerment as we know it. But if LeBron and Clutch win, they could reshape the league into something unrecognizable, where players, not owners or executives, hold the keys to the kingdom. And it's not just about the players or the agents anymore. The pressure is mounting on the owners too. As more stars flock to Clutch Sports, owners are starting to feel the strain. Will they continue to support the traditional power structure? Or will they be forced to accept the changing tide and embrace a new model? Every decision made now could either solidify or destroy the current balance of power. In the midst of all this chaos, LeBron remains focused. His influence on the court is undeniable, but it's his business acumen that is now being tested. He's faced adversity before, but never on this scale. The question isn't whether LeBron will keep playing at a high level. He will. The real question is whether he can win this battle off the court, a battle that could determine the future of the NBA. But here's the most intriguing part of all of this. LeBron isn't just fighting to keep his legacy intact. He's fighting to secure the future of a generation of players who came into the league with new expectations that go far beyond just winning championships. For these young players, the game isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about building a brand, creating opportunities, and controlling their own destiny. If LeBron can win this fight, he won't just be solidifying his place as one of the greatest players of all time. He'll be creating a legacy that extends far beyond the court, a legacy that could change the entire structure of professional sports. But to do that, he'll need to overcome the most formidable challenge of his career. What do you think? Can LeBron and Clutch Sports really change the NBA? Or is this all going to come crashing down? Drop a 1 if you believe LeBron can overcome the odds, or drop a 2 if you think this battle is too big to win. The NBA, once an arena defined by fierce competition on the court, is now being rocked by a power struggle that goes far beyond what anyone expected. As the battle between LeBron James, Rich Paul, and the agents vying for control continues, the question on everyone's mind is simple. What happens when the very foundations of the league itself are up for grabs? What's unfolding is not just a clash of personalities. It's a confrontation between two drastically different visions of what the NBA should look like. On one side, you have the traditionalists, agents, owners, and former players who believe in the established way of doing business. On the other side, you have LeBron and Clutch Sports, a new force that seeks to redefine the rules of the game. The success of Clutch Sports, driven by LeBron's business genius and Rich Paul's strategic insight, has made them a target for those who see this new power structure as a direct challenge to the old order. With every contract LeBron's agency negotiates, with every player that signs on with Clutch, the old guard feels its grip slipping. But here's the real twist in the story. It's not just agents who are frustrated with the rise of Clutch Sports, it's players. The very players who should be benefiting from LeBron's revolution are now beginning to ask themselves tough questions. Is this what's best for the league? Is this what's best for my career? What many don't realize is that the power players in this drama aren't just those with the most media attention, they're the ones who have quietly started to pull the strings behind the scene. Former players, especially those who were once in the same position as LeBron, are now speaking out, claiming that LeBron is too powerful for his own good. But is this just about control, or is there something more personal at play? There are rumors swirling that LeBron's greatest rivalries are now happening off the court. It's not with the Warriors or the Celtics, it's with the agents and players he used to call friends. In fact, some are even suggesting that LeBron's position at the top of the NBA food chain has made him an enemy to those who feel that he's monopolizing the business side of the sport. The further this battle progresses, the more we begin to see how far-reaching its effects could be. Players are starting to wonder, what happens when you put too much power into the hands of one person? How much control is too much? And what happens to a league when a single agent, Clutch Sports, becomes a defining force in player negotiation? There's also the question of loyalty. In the NBA, loyalty has always been a key factor, but LeBron's rise to power has challenged that concept. Players who once worked with other agents are now being courted by Clutch Sports. And as more and more sign with LeBron's agency, the loyalty to older, established figures begins to erode. This isn't just a rivalry between agencies, it's a generational shift. And yet, Despite the mounting pressure, LeBron and Rich Paul continue to rise. The NBA is entering uncharted territory, and whether it's the agents, the players, or even the league executives, everyone is beginning to realize just how much has changed. This isn't just about one player's legacy, it's about reshaping the entire league. But can LeBron, the man who has been the face of the NBA for so long, truly hold on to that position in this new world order? Or will the resistance prove too powerful? What do you think? Can LeBron continue to dominate both on and off the court, or is this a battle he can't win? Drop a 1 if you believe LeBron's empire is too strong to topple, or drop a 2 if you think the resistance will ultimately win this fight. As the power struggle within the NBA continues, one thing has become increasingly clear. The future of the league is in flux. The rise of LeBron James in clutch sports has shifted the balance of power, and it's starting to feel like a reckoning is coming. Every move LeBron makes, every new player that signs with Clutch, every strategy Rich Paul puts into place, these are not just business decisions, they're redefining the entire landscape of the NBA. What many don't realize is how this growing tension is affecting not just the players, but also the ownership and executives who have long held the reins of power. Owners, once untouchable, are now feeling the effects of this shift. For years, they controlled the narrative of the NBA, dictating everything from player salaries to team success. But as players like LeBron James and agents like Rich Paul have grown in influence, it's becoming clear that those days may be numbered. For decades, the NBA was a league where the power was held in the hands of a select few, mainly owners and agents. But now, the players themselves are changing that dynamic. And this isn't just a few role players stepping into the spotlight. It's the superstars of the NBA who are driving this change. LeBron James, with his unmatched influence both on and off the court, is leading the charge, and the results are nothing short of seismic. The shift in power has created an environment where agents like Rich Paul are now holding more sway than ever before. Clutch Sports is becoming the most powerful agency in the league, but with that power comes a level of scrutiny and pressure that not even LeBron could have fully anticipated. The industry is watching closely to see how this all unfolds, because this is more than just a business battle. It's about changing the very structure of the NBA. Behind closed doors, the resistance to LeBron's rise is growing stronger. Agents, players, and even some executives are becoming more vocal in their opposition. But despite the pushback, LeBron and Rich Paul continue to push forward, determined to prove that this new model of player empowerment is not just viable, but necessary. They've built Clutch Sports into an agency that is not only powerful, but influential in ways that traditional agents could never have imagined. But even as LeBron's power continues to grow, there are cracks beginning to show. Some players, once loyal to the idea of player empowerment, are now questioning whether they've given too much control to LeBron and his agency. The backlash is real, and it's starting to take its toll. What was once seen as a revolution is beginning to feel more like a power grab. And in an environment as competitive as the NBA, that's a dangerous thing. As the conflict escalates, it's clear that the next few years will be crucial for both LeBron and the future of Clutch Sports. Will they continue to reshape the NBA in their image, or will the forces aligned against them finally succeed in bringing them down? The NBA is about to enter a new era, and whether it's defined by LeBron's vision or the resistance to his power remains to be seen. So, what happens next? Will LeBron continue to lead the charge for a new era in the NBA, or will the resistance prove too powerful to overcome? Drop a 1 if you believe LeBron's vision will change the game forever, or drop a 2 if you think the old guard will succeed in pushing him out. As the battle for control over the NBA rages on, new alliances are being formed behind closed doors, and old ones are falling apart. The shifting balance of power between LeBron James, Rich Paul, and the agents who stand in their way is creating a league-wide tension that's starting to spill out into the open. But while the drama between players, agents, and owners is captivating, the real question is, what comes next? Who will come out on top in this battle for the future of the NBA? The situation is more complex than anyone initially realized. What began as a fight for agency control has morphed into something much bigger, a fight for the soul of the league. For the first time in history, we're witnessing a shift from team ownership having the final say to the players themselves holding the power. This change is shaking the foundations of the NBA, and everyone from small market teams to big market franchises is watching to see what the outcome will be. LeBron James has already cemented his legacy as one of the greatest players to ever step onto the hardwood. But now his legacy is on the line in a completely different way. The influence he has built over the past decade, both on and off the court, is under attack. And if he isn't careful, it could all come crashing down. At the heart of the conflict lies Clutch Sports, the powerhouse agency that LeBron and Rich Paul have built. For years, it was seen as a positive force, a way to give players more power and more say in their careers. But as Clutch continues to rise, so does the backlash from the traditionalists. Older agents, players who were once in the spotlight, and even team owners are starting to fight back. What's happening now is a clash of ideologies. On one side, you have LeBron's vision of an empowered player, one who controls his own destiny, who gets to negotiate his own deals, and who doesn't have to bow down to the old system. On the other side, you have the traditional power structure that believes the NBA's current model is what works, and that shaking things up is a recipe for disaster. And the truth is, no one knows which side will prevail. The stakes are enormous, not just for LeBron, but for the entire league. If the old guard wins, the future of player empowerment could be in serious jeopardy. But if LeBron and Rich Paul succeed, it could completely alter the future of professional sports, pushing the boundaries of what players can accomplish off the court and rewriting the rulebook for agent-player relationships. As the situation intensifies, insiders are starting to predict a future where the NBA looks completely different. Will we see more superstars take control of their careers like LeBron, or will the players start to back away from the idea of a super agent controlling their future? Could we even see a wave of new agencies pop up to challenge Clutch Sports, leading to even more fragmentation in the market? The NBA is at a crossroads, and the next few seasons will be crucial in determining which direction the league will go. Will LeBron's vision for the future win out, or will the resistance succeed in taking back control? The question is no longer just about contracts or business, it's about the very structure of the NBA itself. So, what do you think? Will LeBron's revolution reshape the NBA for the better, or will the old system come roaring back to reassert control? Drop a 1 if you think LeBron's vision will dominate the future, or a 2 if you think the old guard will rise again and put an end to this power shift. As the NBA heads into a new chapter, the tension between the forces fighting for control has reached a boiling point. LeBron James, once seen as the golden boy of the league, is now facing an internal war that threatens to tear apart everything he has built, both as a player and a businessman. The biggest shift is the growing number of players who are choosing to distance themselves from LeBron, or at the very least, questioning the future of his empire. What was once a symbol of empowerment, the idea that players could take control of their own careers, is now becoming a source of division. The backlash against Clutch Sports, once a tiny seed of jealousy, has now grown into a full-fledged movement. And at the heart of it all is LeBron, who has long been the face of the NBA's modern transformation. But what's happening now isn't just about his role on the court. It's about something much bigger: LeBron's impact on the future of sports representation. As players start to question whether the system LeBron created is in their best interest, the old ways of doing business are beginning to make a comeback. Agents who were once threatened by LeBron's rise are now seeing a path to regain control of the players they once represented. Former teammates, close friends, and players who were once loyal to him are starting to pull back, choosing to chart their own path. It's a striking contrast to the vision LeBron had when he started building his empire. The idea was simple: to empower players to take control of their careers. But now, players are starting to ask themselves if LeBron's empire is too big, too controlling, and ultimately too risky. The reality is, no matter how much power and influence you have, it's hard to maintain control when the foundation starts to crack. As players distance themselves from LeBron and Clutch Sports, something else is happening. The old guard is rallying. Former agents who once fought against LeBron's influence are now joining forces, banding together to push back against the idea that one person, no matter how influential, should hold so much power in the NBA. The fight for control of the NBA has turned into something much bigger than just one player's empire. It's about a clash of ideals: old versus new, tradition versus disruption. The question now is, what will LeBron do next? He's never been one to back down from a fight, but the battle he's facing now isn't one he can win with sheer willpower alone. This is about the future of the NBA, and it's a fight that will require more than just basketball skill. It will take cunning, strategy, and an unwavering commitment to his vision. LeBron James has always prided himself on being more than just a player. He's been a businessman, a mentor, a cultural icon, but now, as the lines between business and basketball blur, he finds himself fighting for more than just a championship ring. He's fighting for his legacy, one that could either redefine the game or completely destroy it. So, where does this battle go from here? Will LeBron's vision for the future of the NBA survive, or will the forces working against him prove too powerful? Drop a 1 if you think LeBron will rally and keep pushing forward, or a 2 if you think the resistance will ultimately take him down. The NBA has always been a game of runs. But what's unfolding now isn't just a series of scoring streaks or dramatic game-winning shots. The power struggle within the league has reached a pivotal moment where every decision, every new signing, every endorsement deal, every locker room conversation has the potential to shape the future of the NBA forever. LeBron James, for all his greatness on the court, is now facing the toughest opponent of his career, the force is working behind the scenes to dismantle the empire he's built. The very players who once looked up to him, who saw him as their mentor, are now starting to question whether they've been part of something that's bigger than basketball and potentially dangerous to their own futures. The cracks are becoming more visible by the day. LeBron's empire, once seen as a beacon of player empowerment, is now being questioned for its level of control. Some players have started to feel that the autonomy they thought they would gain by aligning themselves with LeBron and Rich Paul has actually come with strings attached. They believed they were signing up for more freedom, but now they're realizing that the freedom comes at a steep price. Loyalty to one man, one agency, and one vision. And what happens when a group of players starts to question that loyalty? What happens when the very foundation of LeBron's empire, the trust between him, Rich Paul, and the players, is tested by the people who once supported it? The answer is simple: fractures. The very thing that made clutch sports such a revolutionary force in the NBA, its ability to unite players and forge a new path, now threatens to tear itself apart under the weight of its own success. The reaction has been swift. Former stars of the NBA, players who once thrived under the old system, are beginning to speak out. Some have even gone so far as to suggest that the power LeBron and Rich Paul have amassed is a dangerous thing. They argue that too much influence in the hands of one player could lead to a collapse of the very fabric that makes the NBA so competitive. But here's the most interesting part of this battle. As the resistance grows louder, so does the pressure on the league's owner. Team executives, who have long held the power in the NBA, are now faced with a choice. Do they continue supporting the system they've worked with for years, or do they back LeBron's vision of a new, player-driven league? The question is not just about money, it's about the future of the NBA and what it will look like in the years to come. LeBron supporters argue that the league needs to evolve, that player empowerment is the future. But the old guard sees this as a threat, one that could destabilize the league and change the way the game is played forever. The fight is no longer just about the players, it's about the very identity of the NBA itself, the way it operates, the way it makes money, and, most importantly, the way players and owners will relate to each other moving forward. As this war for control continues, the NBA finds itself standing at a crossroads. Will LeBron's vision of a new, player-driven league emerge victorious, or will the traditional power structure prevail? One thing is for sure, the outcome of this battle will determine the future of the NBA, and it's a future that will be shaped by who controls the narrative, who controls the players, and who holds the keys to the league's most valuable asset: its power. So, what do you think? Is this the dawn of a new era in the NBA? Or will the old system fight back and restore balance? Drop a 1 if you think LeBron's vision will dominate the league, or a 2 if you believe the traditional power players will reassert control. The tension between the old and new guard has never been more palpable. As we watch LeBron James and Clutch Sports fight for their vision of the NBA's future, we are left to wonder, what will the long-term consequences be for the league, its players, and even its fans? What started as a battle over agency control has now become a full-fledged war for the very soul of the NBA. LeBron James has achieved greatness in almost every aspect of his career. On the court, his accomplishments speak for themselves. Off the court, he has built an empire that few can rival, but the power he has cultivated through Clutch Sports is being met with fierce opposition. As more and more players challenge the system LeBron helped build, it's clear that not everyone in the NBA is on board with the revolution he's leading. The next few years will be crucial in determining the NBA's future. Will the league embrace this new wave of player empowerment, where athletes dictate their own paths and business decisions? Or will the traditional structures of power agents, owners, executives fight back and restore their hold on the game? What we're witnessing is a transformation, one that will define how basketball is played, how players are represented, and how their careers are shaped. If LeBron and Rich Paul succeed, the world of professional sports will never be the same. Player power will no longer be a talking point. It will be the foundation on which everything is built. The future of the NBA could become a world where the players hold all the cards, where their decisions and influence shape the league for generations to come. But with every change comes resistance. The fight isn't over yet. As LeBron and Clutch continue to expand their reach, their enemies grow stronger, and their allies more uncertain. The pressure on LeBron has never been greater. Every move he makes, every player he signs, every contract negotiated, it all plays a part in the larger battle for control of the NBA. So, what do we take away from all of this? The NBA is at a crossroads, and the decisions made in the coming years will shape the league for the next generation. Player empowerment is here to stay, but will it be LeBron's vision that defines the future of the sport, or will the old powers fight back and maintain control over the game? It's a battle for more than just money. It's a battle for legacy, for influence, for the future of basketball itself. LeBron James is no longer just a player. He is at the center of a revolution that could change the entire sports industry forever. The only question that remains is, will he win this fight? As we close the book on this chapter of the NBA's ongoing saga, let me know what you think. Do you believe LeBron's revolution will succeed, or is the resistance too strong to overcome? Drop a 1 if you think LeBron's vision will change the NBA for good, or a 2 if you think the old system will rise again. And as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the biggest stories in the NBA. This is just the beginning, and there's a lot more to come.